and we're gone.
What do you know about the Radio 1 Breakfast Show?
Oh, well, the Radio 1 Breakfast Show is owned by the BBC and it runs from 6:33 to 10 a.m. I know that the current host is Nick Grimshaw and that he took over from Chris Moyles in about 2012, so he's been running for like 8 years now. Their target audience is, I think, 15 to 29-year-olds. And they really try to engage and entertain their audience.
Do you listen to the Radio 1 Breakfast Show? If so, why?
Oh yes, of course I listen to the breakfast show. Every morning I take the train to work, so I'm always sitting there listening in and making sure that I'm up to date with all the new music that they play. And usually, I'm just sitting there laughing to myself and, the people on the train think that I'm very strange. But I think it's better than Kiss or Heart because, it's something different to listen to. There's something different every day. It's not repetitive.
Being part of the BBC, we have to make sure we fulfil our PSB remit. How do you think you could do this?
Oh, well, I think it's really important since the BBC has 100% PSB remit. So I think we need to make sure that comes through in the breakfast show. So I would do this, obviously, is to entertain, inform and educate. So I'd do this by maybe incorporating the educational side to it with some games, adds to the entertainment factor, where you could have sort of small wacky facts that we could learn, play it on the show, and we could have our guests listen to them and answer multiple choice. It's educating the audience, also has that entertainment aspect to it.
What character traits do you possess that makes you stand out from other radio presenters like Roman Kemp on Capital?
Well, I think what's really important with being a radio presenter is bringing that element of youthfulness. Having the target audience as being 15 to 29, you need to make sure you're in that bracket to make sure that you can really attract those audiences and keep them engaged throughout the whole programme. So yeah, how I do that is bringing that element of freshness in, playing different games and that sort of thing. I think I'm quite a bubbly and, likeable character, which I think is really important as from my experience with listening to radio and other people that I've asked, they really rely on the presenter banter to make them engage throughout the show. So I think that I can bring that to the table as it's something the audience would want to listen to.
If you were alive for one more day, what would you do?
Well, I think I'd try and do as much as I can with all the people that I love. I'd do something really exciting because I'm going to die the next day anyway, so I'd do as many things as I can. I'd go on a skydive and live my life to the full with all of my favourite people.
As you know, our target audience is 15 to 29-year-olds. So what ideas do you have to keep them engaged, as in games, daily features, that sort of stuff?
Well, I think it's really important that for the age bracket that the show attracts, we have to make sure that we're relating to that audience. So for myself, when I was that age, around the sort of younger spectrum, sort of 15 to 20, there was nothing worse than going to school or college in the morning. It was the worst time of the day having to get up after a late night of revision and so on and so forth. So I would make sure that when incorporating games, I would have things that really rejuvenates them in the early mornings, things such as the Chris Moyles song that he has going on. It's a nice little feature that he includes within his programme, which I think is really nice to listen to and sort of get you upbeat and ready. And also the game that I previously mentioned about the fun facts, which adds to the PSB remit. A game that I would maybe think of is, going out to the streets of where we would film the programme and, asking random questions to the audience, really catch them by surprise, see the sort of things they would reply to. I think it's going to be great for the listeners. And also with YouTube being such a big platform for the show and for the BBC in general, I think that's really good and we can video it, and then that's allowing another platform for people to be looking at the BBC and overall adds to the population of people watching.
Past presenters such as Nick Grimshaw have increased listeners to the Radio 1 Breakfast Show through the use of social media. How would you do this?
Well, I would keep all my social medias not on private, so anybody at any time can see what I'm doing, whether that's work related or leisure related. They can come in, have a look, see what I'm getting up to on my day-to-day basis, and that sort of creates that relationship with the audience member. And then when listening to myself on the radio, they sort of have already got that well-formed relationship, as I just said, so they can, relate more to the listeners. So I would also tweet as the show is going on, and that's just to, once again, as I've been saying, keep the audience engaged. They can sort of read along with the tweets as it's going. There'll be links on there to our YouTube. So it's just getting that multi-platform set out for the audience.
Could she, her ex-boyfriend? No, I don't think so.
So also as a child growing up, I was really close friends with Ellie Goulding. So that is really helpful to the show because, you know, we can bring her on, creating that relationship between myself and her that we've always had from when we were children. She knows a lot of people within the industry that she can bring on. I think it's really important to get new music in all the time so that we aren't listening to the same things, just like in other radio shows where it's very repetitive. Bringing new people in like Ed Sheeran, Calvin Harris, who I know that she has close contacts with.
So, Harriet, if you could be any colour in the world, what colour would you be and why?
My. Well, I think I'm compelled to say rainbow. You know, I think each colour has connotations of different things. I'm just a whole big collection of different things that would be brilliant for people to listen to.
Amazing, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having.
Thank you so much for coming along, Harriet.
Thank you.
for
We really
having me.
appreciate it.
Bye.